It's time for the Nebraska Football Coaches Show. Proudly brought to you by Channel. Channel Seedsman placed product to perform across Nebraska. Get expert advice that yields results at channel.com.
Irvin off to the left of Heinrich, who's in the gun. Two to the near side. Snap back, play action, back to throw. Wide open in the middle field pass. Caught, touchdown. Thomas Faboni for the second straight week has found the end zone. Your center's Arbor. Kemp in motion. They turn to hand it off to Billy Kemp around the left side. Comes back to the 5. He's in. Touchdown. Billy Kemp in there for 6 points. Kaliak Manis, 2 on the play clock. Just gets it off. Back to throw. Huskers send the blitz. They get after him. Nash gets a sack. Back at the 30-yard line. Huskers' second sack of the drive. Stretch play left to Grant. Anthony bounces to the outside of the 10 to the 5. He is in. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Here's your host, Greg Sharpe, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to our Husker Football Radio Hour for the week. We're delighted to be joined by Husker Special Teams Coordinator Ed Foley. Will be talking about the special teams and getting everybody ready for the Illinois game, a Friday night short week for the Huskers. Obviously, television dictates a lot of these start times, so Nebraska will play a day earlier than the rest of the country, and we'll be on the air at 3 o'clock with Husker Game Day with a 7 o'clock kickoff time. If you want to be a part of it, certainly can fire off a text to us at 402-413-2400. This, Coach, may be one of those times where you're grateful to have a shortened week, to just kind of flush that game out of your mind and move on to the next one.
Yeah, the problem. One of the problems with football is you have one of these types of losses, and then you got to sit with it in your mouth for the whole week, and you got the bye weeks too, and been in those situations where you lose a game, then you go into a bye week, and now you got to sit with it for 2 weeks. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting back out there and getting back at it as soon as we can. Because
of the short week, you normally practice on Sundays, but you ratcheted up practice. Message time, I think, probably for everybody in the program, right, after coming off the Michigan game.
Yes, message, but also just needed to get some work done. I mean, just from a standpoint of getting things done, at full speed and having the pads on and doing all that stuff. So yeah, and the early game, the Friday game, to me, or from a special team standpoint, is not a major deal because you can practice on Monday, so you have some time. It's not like you're practicing on with it. The Thursday turnaround's a whole different schedule to me. So the Friday one is a little bit of adjustment, but we'll get everything done and we'll get everything in normal time.
And you're going to do that again later in the year. The Iowa game is on a Friday as well. And that's kind of a tradition around here. So you're going to have two bites of this apple getting ready a day early.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Saturday, besides the final score, it was maybe the windiest game we played in all year. How did that affect your guys? How did it affect the kicking game in your eyes?
The kicking game was a wind that does affect the kicking game, and we had to kick. We had 3 punts. They had 1. They had 1 with the wind. We had 3 into the wind, and I thought Brian did a nice job of punting the ball into the wind, and then the kickoffs obviously were a challenge into the wind as well. That was a benefit for us where we got 2 kickoff returns because of that. But it was a steady wind. Blowing in one direction. It has to be game planned, so we had to have certain things in place to make sure that we were taking advantage or not getting crippled by the fact that we were kicking or punting into the wind, and I thought our guys did a pretty good job of handling that aspect of it.
Coach, why is it they had a good return and it was off of a muff? Why is it that muff seemed to throw everything out of whack?
Well, that muff, a couple things about that particular muff is the way that ball was muffed. We hesitated a little bit, and probably that's the story of the game for the whole team is like instead of just continuing to run down the field and attack now, our left gunner, Phelan Sanford was put in a very difficult position because he was right on top of the returner. So when the ball was muffed, he was actually still in the process of making the catch, so he couldn't blow him up or else he would have been subject to a penalty there. So he kind of had to peel off. And then some other guys were out of place, but we didn't cover that ball well. We were in a position back to the field, back to the right, where we were stacked in our lanes, and we had guys on top of each other, and our field gunner got out of place. So we didn't do a good job covering it. But I thought we were a little bit hesitant. But again, that's not something that you're sitting there in practice saying, hey, let's prepare for the muff that hits the ground and bounces directly back to the guy. I mean, in my career, those muffed punts, I would say at least half the time are loose balls that more than half the time they're loose balls, but half the time you recover them and they hit and they bounce all over the place. That one hit the ground between his legs, bounced straight up, and even not high enough where it made any effect on his ability to return the ball. So, we got a little bit unlucky, but we made our own luck by not covering the thing the way that we've covered. We covered a punt. We covered a punt against Louisiana Tech that was a 58-yard punt with a 55-yard net. Our coverage was excellent. We boxed it in with both gunners. We played a great net, and the returner had nowhere to go. And this was a shorter punt that should have been covered better, and unfortunately, it just wasn't a play that went our way.
Brian got his money's worth on the tackle.
He sure did. And he did a nice job of approaching that tackle, and he saw the sense of urgency with that tackle. And like if he didn't make that tackle, that was going to get some more yards. And luckily, he was over there, took a really good angle to the ball, accelerated, and put himself in position to make that play.
You've used the term gunners. Those are those guys that are out there on the edge, coming down the fast. And Phelan, I know, has done some of that. Who have you used in that spot?
Well, we had Ramir Johnson doing it early, and unfortunately, we lost him. So now we've gone to Tommy Hill has done it some for us. So he's done a good job for us. Mondo's been doing it out there for us. So we've had some other guys that we've kind of had to fill his role with some other guys on the team. Malcolm has covered a couple punts for us out there. So we've kind of gone by committee on the other gunner spot to try to fill in for for the loss of Ramir. And those guys have all done. Mondo was actually the one that made the play on that Louisiana Tech punt. He made a heck of a play on that punt. So we've had some good reps over there. We just got to, like everything else, get more consistent.
You mentioned Tommy Hill. Coach, does he ever come off the field right now? I mean, particularly with the injury to Singleton, he had to play a lot of defense.
Well, it's funny. Tommy's one of those guys, and so we did this on the punt too. So Tommy on the last punt was supposed to be. I was putting Mondo and lineman in the game on the last punt, and I told him, I said, "Lineman, you're going in the game." And so I look up, and because we were rotating on that gunner spot, and then I look up, and Tommy's running down. So I said to him, I go, "Mondo, what happened?" He goes, I looked up and Tommy was running out there, and it's late in the game, and it's I don't know what the 35-0, and Tommy's running out there. He don't want to come out of the game. Like he returned those last two kicks. The last kick was a warrior return. Like he got hit 3 or 4 times and kept pressing forward. So you love playing with those kind of guys that the score doesn't matter. They just want to go out there and play football. Tommy loves to play. He loves special teams, and he's been a real asset for us.
I've been saying for 2 years, last year he had 4 or 5 that I thought he was going to go. He's going to bust one of these at some point in time. What do you say to him or anybody that he put it on the deck the week before? What's the message when he comes off to see you after that?
You're my guy. You're getting the next one. Get ready to play the next play. And do better ball security wise. We talked about specifics of the technique, of ball security, and he's such a good kid. He's like, Coach, my eyes. I saw the hole. I saw it open up. My eyes got big, and I relaxed with the ball security a little bit. I said, Tommy, you can't do that. You got to make sure that you secure the football. We talked to him about that all the time. But this is part of the way that the season goes, and like. Guys go down, like Ramiro was our kickoff returner, and he goes down. The next guy's got to step up, and it's got to be the urgency of like, okay, we can't miss a beat. Like you have to prepare yourself as a backup that any play could be the play that you're going in. So Tommy was certainly ready to do that, but he hasn't carried the ball a whole lot, and the ball security got a little lax on that rep. But I told him, I said, you've earned the right. I mean, you've played a lot of you've returned a lot of kicks for us, and have hit the hole and fearlessly and with a lot of speed, and you're the guy. Just do a better job taking care of the ball.
It's coming, Coach. I can feel it. It's coming. He's going to bust one of these open. Let's go back to the Ramir kick, and I heart broke for him when he got hurt. That was a big moment in that Minnesota game. Talk about how well that was blocked. Obviously, Ramir chose the right path, but you had to block that thing pretty well.
Yeah, really we didn't. I mean,
really?
It was blocked good. It was okay, and we got some key blocks, but we missed some blocks. And I don't want to say that he did it all by himself, but he made a tremendous cut in that game. So we were coming back to the field with the return, and we talk about like if the field gets cut off, just stick your foot in the ground and get up the field. So normally that kick gets returned midfield and sometimes to the near hash, but that ball ended up coming back into the boundary hash because we missed the block, but he saw it, and he just stuck his foot in the ground, and he accelerated so quickly up the field that he made the blocking better. And there were some guys out there that work, and those guys are working really hard to make blocks, and we've made some blocks on kickoff return in general. And kickoff return is one of those animals where like everybody's got to make a block for it to be right, or you have to have the returner make a couple guys miss. And in that case, on that return, we had some guys blocked, but he did a really nice job of just saying, okay, I'm going to get it up the field and get what I can get, and then found his way up the sideline. It was a really exciting play.
How's he doing?
He's good. I mean, I've talked to him. I try to talk to him whenever I see him. I don't see him every day, but when I see him, I say, how's your head? How all you can concentrate on now is how to get better, and just you can't feel like, oh, why did this happen to me, or what do you? I feel left out. All those thoughts sometimes creep into your head, when you're out for the season. So I just put my arm around him and tell him, I said, come in my office anytime you need to talk or anything. We're both from New Jersey, so unfortunately he's one of those North Jersey guys. It's like a New York sports fan, but we talk a little bit about that stuff. But I try to put my arms around those injured guys every once in a while. If I kind of saw IGC this morning, same thing. It's like, hey, what's up? He came in my office and said, hey, what's up, coach? And so as much as we say we feel bad for them, that they're going through it a little bit. Those guys, and those two guys in particular, they love to play football, and they're crushed.
Ramir could potentially come back if he gets himself healed up. Is he a guy that you'd be interested in having back on this football team?
Heck yeah! Anybody, we'll take anybody that when you talk about a guy that can return kicks and be a gunner. Like that's a real set of skills that we would love to have back. So how that happens and all that's way above my pay grade. But I would be thrilled to have him back. Yeah.
All right, Phelan Sanford's a guy that we seem like we mention him once a game, making a play for you out there. He finds a way to be effective every week. Yep. Doesn't he?
Yeah. Phelan's one of the great preparers. He prepares. So when the situation, when that situation presents itself in the game, he's already played it in his head. He's done some of those things in the past. On film, I've watched him, and I've enjoyed watching him. Over the years, do some of that stuff. For you guys here, but it's really elevated his game. One area that sticks out to me is just that the pooch game, getting those punts down inside the 5. He's really so we have. It's something that you can do, or that we try to do with the short field, even on days where we don't go full speed. So we put the gunners, on the 25, and Brian works his pooch game, and those guys don't have to run a full cover and beat up their legs. So we did it on a Sunday night early in the season. I can't remember which game it was. So I'm focused on the protection, and the gunners are down there with Coach McGuire, so he really works with those guys, does a great job with those guys. And so I get the film, and there's 8 reps, and Phelan took 6 of them. So he's pushing guys out of the way because the first, I'm like, Phils, you gonna let somebody else get a rep? And he's like, Coach, the first one was easy. I wanted to get one that was going to be down there, that was going to challenge me. So when he made the play, in the game to down that ball, I was like, I've seen him make that play 4 or 5 times in practice, because he's always challenging himself. To do those kinds of things. So he's a pleasure to coach, and a really, really good player.
Those things are just so hidden in box scores and stuff, because it's set up then we get a 3 and out with the defense. This is complementary football, right? You get the 3 and out short field for the offense, and they go score. But it's all set up because you get down there and you cover a kick.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're not doing it at a high enough level. So let's we're celebrating some of the good stuff, but the opposite is. A net 2 punt against Michigan, where we go from having a net 55, and I'd love to tell you Michigan and Michigan is really good. They're well coached, they're good on special teams, but we didn't contain the ball, and the ball got out, and the same guy tried to do the same thing against Louisiana Tech, and Mondo's sitting right there, and now we have it's net 55, and then you run almost the same identical play. The muff was a little bit different. Net 2. I mean, that's a huge difference in the game in the negative. So we've got to be able to create a lot of net situations, yardage-wise, to help out our offense and defense, to put them in the best position. If we get a ball down, and I tell this to the guys, if we down a ball on the 5 or the 10 or the 8, what are the chances that the other team is going to score against our defense? It's very, very small. So, that's our goal. We want to make all those plays if we can.
Ed Foley's with us tonight on our football show for the week. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to fire off a text. We certainly can pass that along to the coach. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms Visit us online at woodhouse.com. More of the show coming up.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains tocopilla, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 11th and November 3rd and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 24th in Lincoln, plus pregame tailgate. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter. And you may win this season. Both Farmers and Division I athletes are alike in that every year, every season presents a new opportunity. That is nothing new. Aurora Cooperative does what they always do, embrace new opportunities. They focus on their roots and continue to stand strong with their farmer owners. These core beliefs are much like those of committed Husker athletes. Aurora Cooperatives relies on their value of a strong work ethic to get any job done for their producers. When you choose Aurora Cooperative, you're choosing a winning team that's dedicated to the success of our local farmers. Go Big Red and go Aurora Cooperative.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Ed Foley with us, Husker Special Teams Coordinator. It's our football show for the week. Huskers working on a short week. They'll play Friday night in Champaign against the Fighting Illini. A couple of texts coming in for you. Jeff in Omaha says, Coach, you've referred to a player as Mondo. What's his actual name?
Timon Lynham, number 15.
It took me a while to figure it out. I had it at the end there.
Sorry.
It took me a while. And a couple people are wanting to know about your place kicking spot. Is Timmy Bleekrode still in the picture at all?
Tristan's our kicker right now, and obviously he's struggling a little bit, and we're just going to bring him along. Those two are working together really well. Timmy's such a great kid. He's working to try to help Tristan out. So Tristan is a lot closer. I mean, obviously he's not making the kicks that he needs to make during the game, but he's working and he's trying to do everything he can do to get himself on track. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to make the kicks. So never say never. Timmy works every day in practice, and we'll keep letting them work and compete. And every day is a competition. So to have those guys competing too is always good for both sides. So we'll keep looking at that and making the decision we think is best.
Tristan's kick the other day was into that wind. That was not an easy wind to kick going south the other day.
Yeah,
right?
and the wind was in his face, but the wind was kicking both directions throughout the game. So sometimes it was kicking direct. The wind was going right into our tunnel, and then it shifted away from our tunnel a little bit, but. He's got to leave the ball inside the pipes and not try to do too much with the wind there. And I think he tried to be a little too fancy with it and tried to, bring it in through that right upright, and it just didn't come around. So he's got to just understand that we're trying to put the ball down the middle, and we don't have to be too specific or too fine with it. Just go in there and blast it through.
On kickoffs, you've used both Tristan and Brian. How do you decide? Is there a theory to that? Or?
No, they're almost identical statistically. So in practice, they're a little bit different in that Brian gives you a little bit of a lower trajectory ball, which is better into the wind, and Tristan has the ability to get some hang times up there. So, but when you look at the kicks and the placement of the kicks and the hang time over the course of the time that I've been working with them. They're almost identical. I like using them both because it keeps them both in the game. But again, that's something that, as in terms of a competition and what we're looking at is going to be, a feel thing, or also based off one guy jumps ahead of the other and starts kicking the ball better. We'll go with the hot hand or however we have to do that.
And you tried an onside kick late in the game the other day. It was great practice to do that. Brian took that one for you. Coach acted like it wasn't executed very well. What did you see?
Just the timing of it wasn't good, and some of it was on me and the coaching, the way I've coached it, and versus with what they were doing and what they brought to the table. They had an opportunity to call timeout, so they were able to reset, and they reset in a way that I wasn't. That we weren't prepared to go out there and execute. So some of that falls on the coaching part of that. But the ball gets up in there. We need some guys to go in there and just make a pile out of that thing and make it right and dive in there. And again, I think it goes to some of the stuff, the way that game was going. We were kind of like, I wonder what's going to happen with this, as opposed to like just having guys lay out in that pile and come up with the ball. So I would have liked us to be a little bit more aggressive in the attack and the way that we attack that ball. But we'll have a better plan also moving forward.
Let's go to punt returns. Billy Kemp has been back there for you. He hasn't had a lot of real opportunities, has he, to get some and go?
No, and some of those things depend on the kind of punt that you get, and some of them depend on the execution. So we have not had a ton of punts that were really good opportunities to return. And then we've had some execution errors and some guys that are, it only takes one guy to get beat on that in the right spot, and then all of a sudden there's somebody in Billy's face. So we've faced some very good punters, like Louisiana Tech and even the Northern Illinois kid, but the Louisiana Tech punter was really good and had a really good day getting the ball up in the air against us. Minnesota and Michigan have outstanding punters. So we haven't had a great amount of kicks that we can really sink our teeth into, but we've got to get better winning one-on-one battles. And the punt return game, it comes down to, there's some technique that's involved in some ways that we're trying to, bring the punt back. But at the end of the day, my guy cannot be the guy that's down in the punt returner's face, and everyone's got to do it. And we've been close, and we've had a couple of situations where, it's been one block, or it's been, one guy, or it's been, a punt that is probably not the greatest punt to try to bring back, but, he tried to do it because he's trying to make a play, and I'm trying to tell him just, hey, return the ones that are returnable. Return them. You just get the ones back that you can catch, that you got a little bit of space on. So we've got to do a better job of executing, and we got to get a couple of good punts here. And I think Billy's definitely capable of bringing one back for us. So I'm excited about him. Every time that the ball goes up in the air, I think it's an opportunity for us to try to make a play. And I will say this: like, the guys that are on that unit know that. Like, some of the execution errors that we're having are from guys being too aggressive, or they're trying so hard because they know how good Billy is that they're overplaying it, or they're oversetting it, or they're over leveraging it, and putting themselves in bad positions. So we're going to keep working on that, because I feel really good that we can bring one back.
Folks, buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Are there some young freshmen, Coach, that have caught your eye that might be potential return guys down the road? I mean, Ethan Nation is coming to mind. He's a guy with a great athletic ability. Have any of those guys caught your eye that maybe not this year, but next year or 2 years from now? Yeah, there's some very good young players. Jalen Lloyd and Ethan Nation would be two that would just be like the first ones that would come to mind. But there's some of those freshmen that are explosive athletes that have return capabilities. But those two guys, have explosiveness. They can track the ball. They can catch the ball. So I think they're guys in the future that you'll see out there. Jalen Lloyd caught up with Fleeks on that long run. Yeah, Fleeks is fast. Jalen's fast, really fast. So I've been getting Jalen some work. Getting all those guys have kind of been sprinkling them in a little bit here and there, just trying to get them find a role for them as they start to get more playing time and more comfortable with being out there. We see more and more of those guys throughout the course of this year. We need them, and we need everybody. So we're going to need those guys to step up and get out there. Friday night, Illinois, they have a 30-year-old Australian punter, so maybe some more of that rugby style thing. Well, how do you attack that? How do you game plan for that kind of a punter? Well, the thing you have to do with him is just make sure, obviously, that you keep him in the pocket, and you keep him put enough heat on him that that you make him feel a little bit uncomfortable. But it's really no different than any other approach in terms of a combination of pressure on the punter and guys holding up so that we can try to get a return. So we've got to do a good job. They've got a good coverage unit. They're over 40 yards in the net punt, which is always a kind of a landmark of what I think is a good unit. So they have a combination of good coverage and a good punter. So that's going to be a challenge for us, but we'll have a plan for them. The Minnesota punter, I think, was 29 or 30 years old. It's unbelievable. These guys are older than the punters you were facing at Carolina. That's right. Yep. Yeah. Crazy. Did you go to Johnny from Australia? He prides himself in getting these punters put out there. But he works with guys, and he'll call me every once in a while and say, "Coach, I got a punter for you. You be ready. You got the next guy coming." And I'm saying, Johnny, how old is he? He's 27. I'm like, all right, Johnny, I appreciate you, but these guys have all come kind of from that same tree in Australia, and they do a good job. They're mature, and they're good athletes too. So he gets them from the Australian rules football leagues and all that. So he's a good player. He's a good athlete too. Time for this week's Alumni Hall, Husker Alumni. We're going to go pull off a kick, the school record field goal kick from 2008.
Senior T.J. O'Leary to snap it. Senior Jake West to put it down. Alex Henry to try to put the Huskers in front with 1:50 left in the game. Ball right on the end. The snap is down. The kick is up. The kick is on its way, and the kick is good! Makes it 57 yards out of school record to put the Huskers in front 33-31.
Now to Cole Hartman, that's one of his highlights of his Husker games at Memorial Stadium, that 57-yard kick by Alex, who lives in Omaha. He's doing some work on the Go Big project, so he comes down here a couple times a week. I know you've had a chance to meet. Nebraska's had a pretty good lineage of great kickers and punters, and you're hoping to keep that going with even a legacy at some point in time down the road.
Yes, hopefully. And, those guys, having those guys around and just whether it's on the sideline or, coming out to be part of our summer like just coming out in the summer to say hello. It's been great, and they're a good resource, and obviously we have to build on that tradition. I mean, when you can have the caliber of specialists that they've had from Nebraska over the years, it's really it's the people around the country know that, and we have to capitalize on it. But I think we already have. But it's a huge plus for us to have great specialists.
Sam Cook went to the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago. Brett Maher, I think he has a home here in Lincoln. He's obviously kicking with the Rams right now in the NFL. So Alex Henry is our Alumni of the Week. Alumni Hall is your ultimate Husker shopping experience with the largest and best selection of apparel, vault gear, and tailgate accessories. Shop their 2 Lincoln locations or alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Huskers shop. All right, keep those texts coming. I see a couple more that have popped in. We'll get to those to the coach in the next segment, 402-413-2400. More with Coach Foley coming up.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 11th and November 3rd and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 24th in Lincoln, plus pregame tailgate. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter. And you may win this season. Both Farmers and Division I athletes are alike in that every year, every season presents a new opportunity. That is nothing new. Aurora Cooperative does what they always do, embrace new opportunities. They focus on their roots and continue to stand strong with their farmer owners. These core beliefs are much like those of committed Husker athletes. Aurora Cooperatives relies on their value of a strong work ethic to get any job done for their producers. When you choose Aurora Cooperative, you're choosing a winning team that's dedicated to the success of our local farmers. Go Big Red and go Aurora Cooperative.
Everyone knows there isn't a fan base in the country that travels like Nebraska football fans. AAA Nebraska wants to help continue that tradition with the Huskers Away Game Getaway Giveaway. They're sending one fan on the ultimate away game experience for the Nebraska-Michigan State game on November the 4th. The prize package includes 2 tickets to the game and a $2,500 AAA travel gift certificate to cover flights, hotel, and travel accommodations. Enter now for a chance to win at huskers.com/AAA football getaway. Contest ends October 18th. Expect something more with AAA.
In 1923, Bert R. Benjamin had a vision, an all-purpose tractor that could do more. With that, the Farmall was born. This year, Case IH is celebrating 100 years of Farmall, 100 years of milestones, 100 years of innovation, passion, grit. And they're doing it through your stories. Share them at farmall100.com. One lucky storyteller will win their own Farmall, the tractor that is the one for all.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
Everyone remembers Nebraska's national championships and Heisman Trophy winners. Most people also know Nebraska holds the record for the longest home sellout streak. But did you know Nebraska also leads the nation with 351 academic All-Americans? Or that Nebraska has more today's top 10 award recipients than any school in the country? Beardmore Subaru is proud to support and celebrate Husker athletics and Nebraska student athletes again this season. Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the 3-row 2024 Subaru Ascent. It's the biggest SUV we've ever made. Love is now bigger than ever.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker Option Offense. more powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
What's colder than the coldest? A polar bear.
Live reports of a polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hoving here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on new York equipment. The best warranty in town.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day-by-day donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Folks, visit a participating AGCO dealer between now and November the 3rd and get yourself entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa game on Black Friday, November 24th, here in Lincoln. We'll also give you some pregame tailgate passes. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter, and you may win this season. Coach Foley with us for a few more minutes here in our football hour. Huskers getting ready to go play the Fighting Illini Friday night in Champaign, 7 o'clock. Kick, 3 o'clock for Husker game day here on the network. John in Omaha for you, Coach. It seems to me like rugby-style punter is always a bigger threat to run. Is that the case? Thanks, Coach. Good luck Friday. Go Big Red.
Yep. One of the things that you have in place, and we do this almost all the time anyway, is have contained rushers on the rugby punter so that they can't extend the kick. Yes, they can run, but they can also extend the kick. So when a rugby punter rolls out of the pocket and takes, the normal operation time on a punt is usually around 2 seconds. But when that rugby punter goes out and kicks the ball in 3.5 seconds, that's a long time for the coverage guys to get down the field. So we want to contain them and pull them up and get them to get rid of the ball. So yes, it's an issue on the running. It's also an issue on the movement of the pocket. So that's something that we have to contend with when we see a rugby style punter for sure.
John, appreciate the text. Andrew, and you and I touched on this in the last segment. What's the rule on hitting the return man in the punt game, and is there a reason that Phelan didn't hit that Michigan player on that muff?
Well, he has to be able to complete the catch. So if you hit him before he can complete the catch, and technically the rule is, so if I muff the punt, if I'm trying to return the punt, and the punt hits me and goes up in the air, and I have a chance to catch it. Now, once it hits the ground, it's a live ball. But if I'm still trying to handle the punt, or I'm still trying to pick the punt up as the punt went through his arms and hit the ground, so you have to let him be able to complete the catch all the way to the ground. So it was really touch and go it was one of those where he was covering so hard and was right on top of it just as the catch went through his, that's a fair catch.
Right.
And he didn't fair catch it, and he was rolling the dice to try to return it to start, and then the ball went through his hand. So I can't put any fault on Phelan there. He was playing it really aggressively, and if he ran through that punter, there's a good chance that he could have gotten called.
Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Another really good tackle that stands out to me from last week, Ty Hahn made a really good play for you on teams. He's out there an awful lot for you on Saturdays.
Yeah, Ty Hahn's playing a ton for us on special teams and doing a really good job. He's a high-effort guy that runs well, and he's physical enough to help us out on the front line on the punt protection. So he's playing right tackle on the punt team and doing a really good job. But the coverage that he's provided, and not just he was part of that tackle against Louisiana Tech that we talked about, but he made the tackle down the right sideline. Again, going back to talking a little bit about the wind played a punt down the middle of the field. So Brian was trying to come down the hash with the punt. It ends up in the middle of the field. We're trying to get the punt outside the hash, and Ty just sees it all the way. He has great vision on it and just turns and makes the tackle and holds him to whatever was a 9-yard return that could have been a problem the way it came down. But his effort and his want to has been phenomenal.
Let's talk Mekhi Bear. This is just a fascinating story to me. I know he didn't start out, maybe it was a huge thought for the defense, but the way he played for you on some of the teams in the Minnesota game, now he's playing an awful lot of defense. Your thoughts about Mekhi?
There was never 1 second that I didn't think Mekhi was going to be a great special teams player since I got here. He was the guy that was in my office watching special teams film during the spring for probably 20 minutes a day. And he would come in and say, Coach, look at this. See how I got blocked here? What do I do here? Coach, the ball's over there, but the blocker's over here. What do I do? So he's one that developed through playing reps in the office a real confidence with covering the kickoffs. And his kickoff coverage started right from the get-go against Minnesota, and it's been great all year. He plays 1,000 miles an hour, and he understands leverage. He understands where the ball is. He can identify it very quickly, and he can cause problems on kickoff. And then he's good on the other units. Plays on punt return. Plays on kickoff return because he has just developed himself into a really good player. He cares a tremendous amount about doing the right thing for his teammates. And then he watches it film and he puts himself in that situation that I think all great players, especially when you can do it when you're young, great young players, are like, what happens if this happens? So he's not just in there going, oh, hey, look at me, I made the block, or I didn't make the block, or he's out there saying, Coach, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? And he's really accelerated his learning on special teams. But that started, that happened in the spring, and it's just carried through. He's in every day talking about special teams, and it's really important to him.
What kind of film sessions do you put together? What things do you have them look at during the week?
Coaching the special teams, all 11, is a real challenge. So if I'm in a meeting and I'm talking to the right gunner, the left tackle's probably not listening, especially in this day and age, right?
Yes.
So I try to keep the meetings on the individual corrections really short, and I try to focus on the big picture of the opponent and the big picture of what we're trying to do on each unit. So I'm trying to say, okay, here's their coverage, or here's their returner, here's how they like to return, and here's how we have to, as a unit, go defend them. And then I make a lot of individual corrections one-on-one, and this Nebraska has been awesome. Like, guys are coming in my office for their one-on-one corrections, and I tell them, I said, if you come in my office, it's 5 minutes. It's us looking at your clips individually, and that's how we're going to make the individual corrections. And then I text them corrections too. So I film them. This day and age, it's my tribute to technology. Is filming the clips on the phone and then just shooting them a text and saying, here's how where you should be individually, so that we can save that. And then the other thing I do is, I try to break up the meetings with, letting the gunners go with G, letting them go with Coach McGuire, letting the returners go with EJ, letting the jammers go with Coop, and splitting those guys up so that, so now I can focus on, in a punt meeting, for example, I can focus on the protection, and then the other guys. And then I meet with the specialists, obviously. I meet with them individually, so they're not really part of the unit meetings. But it's a challenge to try to talk to all 11 guys in the meeting room at one time, and our staff and our players have been great about making sure they know and they're what they have to do to be successful.
Sounds like you like these guys.
I love our team. I love the guys that are playing on special teams. They play really hard. Sometimes we got to tone them down a little bit, but the way the care factor and the way that they play and how they're playing and how they're trying to get better every single week has been a pleasure.
Very good. Folks, get a 5-cent per gallon discount using a CVA fuel card for a limited time. Register for a fuel card and be entered to win 2 VIP tickets to the Husker football game at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation. Back with some final thoughts from the coach coming up next.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975, and now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Both farmers and Division I athletes are alike in that every year, every season presents a new opportunity. That is nothing new. Aurora Cooperative does what they always do, embrace new opportunities. They focus on their roots and continue to stand strong with their farmer owners. These core beliefs are much like those of committed Husker athletes. Aurora Cooperatives relies on their value of a strong work ethic to get any job done for their producers. When you choose Aurora Cooperative, you're choosing a winning team that's dedicated to the success of our local farmers. Go Big Red and go Aurora Cooperative.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit newnordicusa.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
There's room at the table, saving you money on every gallon at a CVA fuel site. Central Valley Ag offers a 5-cent per gallon discount at the pump to CVA fuel card holders. Now, for a limited time, get a 5-cent discount and be entered to win 2 VIP tickets to a Husker football game when you get a new or additional CVA fuel card. Sign up to win at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Special teams coordinator Ed Foley with us for a few more minutes here on a Tuesday night. Huskers will play Friday. I don't know why Andy in Phoenix is asking this, but he wants to know if the Phillies are ready for another October run.
The Phillies are ready. It's Red October for the Fighting Phils.
You get ready game one in about 15 minutes here.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I still got some work to do tonight to get ready for practice tomorrow, but we'll make sure we get that on in the background.
Baseball playoffs a pretty special time of year. It really is.
Well, you know, Philadelphia is a special place when it comes to the playoffs, and it was a curse and a blessing to get fired after 4 games last year with the Carolina Panthers, but it put me right in the thick of it. So I was up there for the playoff run, and it was really exciting to be part of it. And playoff baseball is great.
I think Bryce Harper will have a good series.
Yes, let's go.
We got the Marlins coming up tonight. The Brewers lead in their game 1 against the Diamondbacks. We'll get a full scoreboard update coming up on the other side. All right, so Illinois, the next opponent, Brett Bielema, hard-nosed coach, had a great run at Wisconsin. This guy knows what he's doing coaching football, isn't he?
Yeah, and special teams is important to him. I mean, you could tell by what they're putting on film on their schemes and you know what the challenges that they present you schematically. They've got good specialists, and and it'll be a challenge. And they're hard-nosed kids that take a lot of pride in the units. And there hasn't really been a week off. And sometimes you get one of those weeks where you can see they don't put a ton of time into special teams. That has not happened this year, and it's certainly not going to happen this week.
The single-digit thing that Coach Rural brought to Husker football, I love that. How good is it for you to be able to use some of those single-digit guys in some of your teams? Well,
it's great because, if you talk to a guy like, Tyler Matakevich, who's been in the NFL for 7 years, was a single-digit on the punt team. And that's what John Bullock is, and that's what Isaac Gifford is. So when you play with single digits, on your units, and then you go to the NFL, and then you see the guys that are there that have worn the single digits. And at Baylor, Terrell Bernard is an example of doing that for the Bills now. But like that, it means something. Like the single digit guys it's an important part. It's a culture. And back historically, we started the single digit thing with Al Golden in 2008. We picked them as a staff, so we were like, okay, who deserves a single digit? And then it got some track, and then we went to where it was like the kids voted for some and we picked some. Well, now the kids vote for it, so it's like, and it's not a captain thing. It's a who plays the way you want to play, who plays what we call RDV, like just relentless, disciplined and violent, and who are the guys that are doing that, and your peers are electing you to do that. So it's a big honor, and those guys are always really good on special teams.
Folks, Dorothy Lynch, home style, light and lean dressing, endless flavor abilities. All right, some big injuries. We talked about Ramir's injury earlier in the year. He was a huge part of what you were doing with this team. Emmett Johnson's another guy that I know you really like, but now do you have to be careful with him because of how kind of thin that running back room has gotten?
A little bit, and Emmett will be ready to go if we need him, but that's why it's great to have a guy like Tommy Hill stepping up. And honestly, we got some other guys that can do it. We have a core of guys that can do certain jobs, but it's getting to be about that time that the young guys got to start stepping up too. And we got to trust them. And I'm guilty as anybody of saying, well, he's a young guy, whatever. But now I'm watching these guys 5-6 weeks in, and I've never been part of a team that has not had to overcome injuries. That's part of the game. It's part of what we have to do. Guys got to step up, and we as coaches have to trust guys to step up. So, sometimes we're all guilty of being like, well, let me put the next guy in there, the next senior, the next trustworthy guy. But there's some young players in our program that are getting ready to start to come out of their shell.
Coach, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Marco. How has he done snapping the ball? His name never gets mentioned unless one's sailing toward the other goal line. How's he been snapping?
You just said it. The fact that you haven't mentioned him means he's doing it. Can you remember saying, boy, that snap was really high, or that snap was out of place, or where the hold was really a problem, right?
And Brian's your holder.
Yeah, those guys are constantly working on their craft, on making sure that the ball gets down in the right spot. We take a pride in the field goal game of getting the laces away from the kicker, and it's like you don't notice it until you notice it, right? But those guys are working all the time on making adjustments to making sure that the kick is down, that we can get it. And we're not perfect by any stretch, but we're getting close, and we're working on it. And Marco's a complete pro with his approach. Every day he'll come in and talk about how he can get better, even though he's playing at a pretty high level in terms of his snap accuracy. He's working on his feet all the time, and he's been awesome.
Coach, appreciate it. Thanks for coming in and educating us on a lot of stuff with the special teams. I'm going to get you out of here 10 minutes, 11 minutes ahead of first pitch. So
appreciate that, Greg. Thanks.
Go Phillies.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Ed Foley with us here tonight on our football show for the week. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We got a full hour Sports Highlight coming up. We're going to hear from both coordinators who met with the media earlier today. Jessica will rejoin me on the other side.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
There are a lot of rates out there, and it can be tough to find the right one. Well, let's make it easy. With FNBO's special offer CD of 5.5% APY for 3, 7, or 17 months, you can earn more, save more, and do more. That's 5.5% annual percentage yield for 3, 7, or 17 months at your nearest FNBO location with a minimum deposit of $500 and an FNBO Premier Checking account. So stop on by and give your savings a great big boost with the Great Big Small Bank. FNBO, member FDIC.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Something big is happening. Introducing Hy-Vee Perks. Now, Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is Hy-Vee Perks. Get the same great benefits like fuel savings. Plus, save even more on hundreds of products store-wide with Hy-Vee Perks prices like Tide. H Perks price $9.97. And bananas. H Perks price 39 cents a pound. Make the switch or sign up for Hy-Vee Perks and start saving today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Nebraska offensive coordinator Marcus Satterfield spoke to the media today following the Huskers' 45-7 loss against Michigan this past Saturday. The Huskers are coming off 3 home games in a row and have a crucial Big Ten West game on the road on Friday versus Illinois. Coach Satterfield was asked about going back on the road following this 3-game stretch and how they can combat the crowd. Here's what he had to say.
Just like today, Coach cranked up the crowd noise, just making sure that we're, and it's week 5, 6. We've been doing this together now. So it's getting smoother and smoother each time we go out there, but just, cranking up as much noise as we possibly can and operating through that.
We'll hear more from the Huskers coordinators coming up later in the show. Nebraska soccer star Eleanor Dale has been named Offensive Player of the Week by the Big Ten Conference. This comes after scoring 4 goals in 2 games last week as the Huskers went 1-0-1. Their next game is Saturday at home versus Iowa for Senior Day. The 2023-2024 Nebraska Men's and Women's Basketball Network TV schedule was announced today. 17 of the 20 men's Big Ten games will air on the Big Ten Network. You can visit Huskers.com for the rest of the schedule. The MLB postseason starts today with 4 wildcard matchups. The Minnesota Twins won 3-1 against the Toronto Blue Jays. This is the Twins' first postseason victory since 2004. The Texas Rangers defeated the Tampa Bay Rays 4-0. The Arizona Diamondbacks are currently tied 3-3 with the Milwaukee Brewers, and the game between the Miami Marlins and the Philadelphia Phillies is about to start in minutes. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Lombardi play actions, being rushed, gets hit, goes down, and then a sack for the Cornhuskers, and Jay Sherman, the first on the scene. It's a loss of 9.
Pass by Harper, quick attack, Big Alec, kaboom! GHTV, get on the ball.
Harburg under center. Grant the deep back. They turn, give it off to Anthony right side. Touchdown, Nebraska. Huskers back in front, 13-7.
Left side roll shot, diving, take Merritt Beeson. Here come the Huskers. Fed left, Harper, yes. Off the block, and he can't even contain her. Forget about stopping her. It's 12-6.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are, back hour number 2 of our Tuesday night show. So good to have Ed Foley. He just is a joy to talk to. He's so fun, so upbeat.
He's so uplifting, and it's contagious. There's people that are upbeat and uplifting, but then there are those that are contagious that you just feel better when you're in their presence, and you feel, and he is like that. When you walk in a room and he's there, it's just instantly you're uplifted. And, it's neat to see his relationship with so many of the guys. The special teams coordinator, they touch so many different parts of the teams, and you heard him talking about all the different guys that he talks to, and so he's got a great personality. But I've also seen him get after some guys too when they're not doing things right. So, but he's so. I would love playing for a guy like that. If I was a specialist, or if I wanted special teams, I'd want to compete really hard for a guy like that.
It was over a half a dozen times I'd go, well, let's talk about this player. And he'd go, I love that kid. Or, what a great kid. So that's why I found at the end, I'm like, I get the feeling you really like this group.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, he does. And, all the coaches seem like that. I know it's easy to say, and oh, yeah, of course they do. They always say that. But no, you can tell. I go back to the Terrence Titan, and I know I talk a lot about him, but you can just tell in his huddles how much he really, really likes his group. But then also you can tell how much he believes in them. And so when they were trying to do too much, they weren't doing their jobs. That's the thing. There's a difference between not playing hard, not giving your effort, and then not doing what you're supposed to do, right? I don't think there was a lack of effort. I think at times they were trying to do too much, and we got into that discussion. I know Damon talked about that. That's what Terrence said, do your jobs.
Right.
Don't try to do any more than that. Do what you've been doing, because when you try to do too much and try to, and Searles got into this big discussion today on the sideline slice, that's when you give up a big play and then you let your teammates down. You just got to do what you're supposed to do. But again, going back to his belief in his guys, you just can tell how passionate he is about his players, and all the coaches up and down the line. I can listen in, and you can just tell. I mean, how many times have we heard that about Coach Raiola and how much these players, but yes, I mean, I think it's a good group. And a lot of the guys that we have talked about how much we've liked over the last 2-3 years are a big part of that. And, you're not surprised that this coaching staff likes these guys as much as we have covering their careers over the last 2 and 3 years. I think in some ways, thinking back to Saturday, that the Huskers maybe gave Michigan too much respect. Sometimes you do that, you're going, man, this team is so good, and you talk yourself kind of into like, we can't do this. Even though all week long you're trying to figure out a way to do it, I just think I'm not saying they were afraid, but I think they maybe gave Michigan too much respect instead of just cutting it loose and going after them. It just seemed like there was maybe a little bit of timidness, and that's what we keep hearing
hesitancy.
That's what we keep hearing from the coaches is that they didn't attack and they weren't aggressive, and Michigan was. They came out and punched Nebraska in the mouth, and then there wasn't a fight back. There just was not. And again, it wasn't like they were not playing hard or giving the effort. It just was they didn't play well. There's a difference in that. And you didn't play good football, and you didn't give your effort. It's different. And so I just don't think they came out. And then when things didn't go their way, they didn't respond. I don't think how this coaching staff would have liked to have seen them respond. And so, but you cannot do that against a team like Michigan. Like, let's face it, that just is not something that you can do.
They'll make you pay for it.
Yeah.
Good teams do that. All right, we've got a full hour ahead. We're going to hear from both coordinators who met with the media today. We want to hear from you as well. Phone lines, Cole has opened those bad boys up, 402-413-2400. You want to join us with a call, or obviously the text line is always open and available for you as well. So we'll get into more of that during this hour, hearing from Coach White, Coach Satterfield, particularly Coach White. He was pretty fired up today as well, kind of following the lead of the head coach from yesterday, where there's some passion. I really think to a man on that staff, in that locker room, they are glad they're playing on Friday, that they can't wait to get back out on the field. Yeah, I think for those that were thinking, oh, man, this is not good, too quick of a turnaround again after a beating like that. But no, I think the message has been delivered. I think it's been received, and they want to get out there and right the wrong and put a better performance together. And the sooner you can do that, the better at this point. It's the worst thing about football. You have to wait so long. You have to wait a week. If it's basketball or baseball or volleyball, you're playing in a couple of days. Yeah. Football, you got to sit there for 7 days. And off a good performance, you're fine with that because you're getting pats on the back for a couple of days. But after a bad one, it just seems like it's forever to get to the next game. Yeah, and then how about just turn right around after that physical game and have a really physical practice on Sunday? Ooh. Again, I think that message has been delivered, and being able to get back out there and, hey, we got some things to work on. We've got a lot of things that we have to fix, and so let's get right to it because we cannot waste another day. And I think it's been really, entertaining, I guess, but also refreshing to hear how the coaches have been in their media sessions, especially Coach Rule and Coach White. They were lined up, weren't they? Yeah. The emotion in their voice from yesterday and today, ooh. There's been some strong talks, I think, going on in the locker rooms and some coaches' meetings during the week. Folks, buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. I want to go back and touch on something Duke had in the ticker. The sport of soccer is not easy, particularly at the collegiate level. What Eleanor Dale is doing is stupid. It's ridiculous. She scored 4 goals last week. This is unbelievable. It's unreal. And again, you're talking about somebody that had 7 goals and 7 goals in a season. Her sophomore year had 7 goals. Junior year had 7 goals. Good years. Those are good years. Yes. But she's doubled that and then some. You want to talk about the perfect example of hard work paying off. This is somebody that she went and played with a team in California over the summer, built some confidence, showed her what she could do. She could compete against the highest. And I think maybe just, again, going back to that conversation I had with her earlier this year, and she's never satisfied. And it's not about her, it's about the team. And you couple all of that together, and this is just somebody that you want to root for. And this is somebody that if you're showing your kids, hey, this is the kind of athlete that you should model your career after, because
she's not getting caught up in it. She's not satisfied, but also she doesn't care. She does not care if she scores or not. She just so deeply wants this team to make it to a tournament, to make a run in the Big Ten, to do things special in the postseason. That's ultimately, and then that her individual success, she's being rewarded for that because she is such a selfless. And then you can just tell how much the team adores her and appreciates her. But you know, she this is someone that's going into her senior year, that's leaving it all out there. No, there's going to be no regrets for her, and she has capitalized on confidence, the game slowing down. It's all just kind of come to a point where it's just building at the right time, and it's just coming to fruition for her.
Folks, she leads the country.
Yeah, and has almost all
scoring.
year.
Yes. There are a lot of soccer programs in America. We don't play football Saturday, everybody. They have a home match. It's their senior day. That's not their last home match, but they are going to honor their seniors Saturday, 1 o'clock against Iowa. I would love to have a big-time crowd out at Hibner on Saturday.
Yeah, get out there, support this team, and it makes a huge difference. They have talked about that, how big of a difference it makes when it is, and they've had some good crowds out there. So, you know, again, this is an NCAA tournament team. We heard Trev say that the other day. We've been saying that since the summer. They had enough talent coming back. They've done enough in the non-conference. Now they've got to keep taking care of business in the Big Ten, but it's a respected enough conference. They've taken care of business up to this point. I don't see them laying down. So this is an NCAA tournament team. Get out there and support them, and especially those seniors that have really grinded through a lot up into this point, and show them some support.
1 o'clock Saturday at Hibner Stadium. And
here's my thing, too, going back to her scoring. Aren't teams trying to take her away?
Yes, absolutely. They're doubling her. Absolutely.
She's still scoring.
And it did it against Northwestern and Rutgers, two really good programs.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not doing this against low majors. These are good teams.
And credit to her teammates for still
Sarah Weber gave her a great lead for the final goal the other day.
which are still able to get her open and find her in good situations to score, despite teams trying to key in on her. They're still doing what they can to get her open, because, I mean, obviously she's got the hot foot right now.
Oh, my gosh. And Sarah got on the board. They really have two, if you've watched Ted Lasso at all, the term two aces. They kind of have two aces with her, and then Sarah Weber certainly can score as well. But, just wanted to reference that. Duke had it in the ticker that she was named the Offensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten Conference. Has to be an All-American, right? I mean, how do you not make her an first-team All-American?
Usually the leading scorer of any sport is an All-American.
Yes.
Usually the nation's leading passer, or one of.
Right.
The nation's leading
scorer.
The nation's leading scorer for men's and women's basketball usually is. The baseball, the nation's leading hitter or home run. Usually those guys are All-Americans.
Exactly.
What we saw to Max Anderson. So, I mean, you'd think that, it would be shocking at this point if she was not an All-American. Because there's a lot of, even if she didn't score another goal, she'd still be in the top of goal scorers in the country.
Yeah. If she shut out the rest of the way, she's going to be in the top 5 at the end of the year. Phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Phenomenal stuff. Hey,
she is going to be, when you and I are, I'm assuming, in this committee again, and we're talking about
kicked off the island.
When we're talking about women's players of the year, she's got to be in that conversation. And how hard is this already conversation going to be? Because we have several volleyball players that'll be in that discussion. Plus,
how do you pick which one of those?
I know.
That's a hard thing with that.
Well, you probably are going to give a freshman of the year to one, right? I don't know. But then, so you have that discussion about a volleyball player. Then you have, and you're only talking about two sports that are going on right now. You have a pretty solid women's basketball team. Jordy Ball is here now, the nation's best pitcher, arguably. And then a bowling team that always continues to compete, and the best women's golfer in school history.
Yeah.
Already. And she's going to be, a junior now? No, sophomore.
She was a freshman last year.
Yeah, she said, so that's going to be a fun debate when we get to that point.
All right, 402-413-2400, Woodhouse Auto Family. They are your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back with our practice report. Comments from both coordinators. We'll have that for you next.
There's room at the table. Saving you money on every gallon at a CVA fuel site, Central Valley Ag offers a 5-cent per gallon discount at the pump to CVA fuel card holders. Now, for a limited time, get a 5-cent discount and be entered to win 2 VIP tickets to a Husker football game when you get a new or additional CVA fuel card. Sign up to win at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Both farmers and Division I athletes are alike in that every year, every season presents a new opportunity. That is nothing new. Aurora Cooperative does what they always do, embrace new opportunities. They focus on their roots and continue to stand strong with their farmer owners. These core beliefs are much like those of committed Husker athletes. Aurora Cooperatives relies on their value of a strong work ethic to get any job done for their producers. When you choose Aurora Cooperative, you're choosing a winning team that's dedicated to the success of our local farmers. Go Big Red and go Aurora Cooperative.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Winning a new truck playing trucks and bucks from the Nebraska Lottery changes a person. I used to drive around hills. Now I drive over them. I used to hate helping friends move. Now I can do it in one trip. I used to own my own tech company. Now I'm on the professional rodeo circuit. Actually, I'm going back to tech. Bulls are really mean, and I just don't look good in chaps.
Play trucks and bucks from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
Did you know that Lincoln's water is 4 times more hard than what is recommended? This will shorten the life of your water heater, harm pipes through mineral buildup, and is bad for your hair, skin, and clothes. What's the solution? A water softener.
Go online to jhlincoln.com to learn more about water softeners and our flexible financing offers, or call
John Henry's 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
It's being well supported by a provider who understands your health interests and goals. It's ensuring you are well connected to a team of caregivers and specialists. It's feeling well cared for by having someone you can turn to who sees you for you. That's the power of being well matched. And that's exactly what CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match does. Meet the provider who is right for you at myprovidermatch.com.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday night. Coach Foley entertained us all in hour one. He was fantastic. Jessica's reposted that. If you missed some of that, go back and listen to that. You will have fun with that. Art in Los Angeles. Greg, I'm not happy with the Big Ten for scheduling volleyball and football at the same time on Friday. Do you think someone made a mistake with scheduling, or did they not consider that situation? They really don't. Football starts an hour later, so volleyball would be probably into the third set by the time we kick off. But it's hard to get it all to piece together and stuff, so yeah. They don't do it on purpose.
On Northwestern, will they try to avoid, since they're both home?
Yes.
So that will be.
In fact, we may have even a TBA in that, but that Northwestern football game is probably going to be in the day. I think volleyball plays at night.
Yeah, volleyball. I think that's already set, right?
Yeah, I think it is set.
It's a night game. It's I think 7 o'clock. So.
I don't think we're going to have another night home game.
Yeah.
Do you?
That stinks.
I was already locked in at 11. I just think Northwestern Purdue are going to be day games.
You can't play. Obviously, you can't. If with volleyball, they won't compete, right? That's for sure.
I don't know. Sometimes they could bleed over each other, but I don't think we have another night game at home. I'm with you, unfortunately. All right. Cole says time to do a practice report.
The 1890 Initiative presents the Nebraska Football Practice Report.
We're talking about practice.
Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com.
Well, both coordinators met with the media today. That's kind of a Tuesday staple. They didn't move that, even though the Huskers game is up a day. So we heard from both Tony White, Marcus Satterfield. We're going to start with Coach White. He had a lot of passion. He had some fire about him today. He was asked about, tell us about that Sunday practice that you went after. They always practice on Sunday, but they went full pads this past Sunday. Here's the coach.
It was just a lot of competition and a lot of physicality, and Coach laid it out with a clear view of how this place is supposed to play. How we're supposed to play on the grass under the lights, and so we went out there and made sure that they knew how to do that. So, it was just a physical practice.
I think we all have a picture in our mind of what that practice is like.
Oh, I bet it was fiery, but they let them know. And again, going back to that culture that, all right, Jeremiah told this great story in the sideline slice, and Cole, we're going to run a portion of it, so Cole, if you will, make sure to include this, but he talked about the only time it happened to me was when they played Iowa State here, and they had more turnovers than points.
Awful game.
And they practiced that Monday, full pads. And he said every single player had to go through ball security drills. So the offensive linemen are trying to, hold on to the ball. And he said message was received. And he said it was a wake-up call. I mean, and if you're not going to do what you're supposed to do, you have to earn the right to play on Saturdays. And how many times have we heard Coach Rule say that? You have to earn that right. And so, if you're not going to do things how we expect, and again, not because he didn't play hard. They just didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Right.
So we're going to go do it in practice. We're going to make sure that we're getting that done in practice. And it's just that's the messaging, that's the culture that Coach Roll instills. I saw it at Baylor, and so, yeah, it's I can imagine how that practice was. I wish I was a fly on the wall.
Yeah, would have been nice. I remember in my days of playing high school basketball, we had a bad effort on a road game. We got back and we got off the bus and we went to the gym at like 11:30 at night. We're out there running sprints, 11:30 at night. Did you ever do that?
Wouldn't be allowed now.
In high school?
No, Greg, I never had a bad game in my life, so no.
Your team never had a bad game?
No, heck no.
How many banners are hanging up in the old high school gym there then?
Oh, I had 2 banners.
All right.
The first girls team ever to make it to a state tournament at my high school.
There you go. Cole,
So-
how about that?
But no, I mean, I'm kidding. But no, I don't think it was. We definitely had hard practice the next day, where we had to get up the next day. Okay, we're gonna play hard. But I don't think I ever had to do it that night.
Oh, we got right off the bus, went
Yeah.
to the gym, running wind sprints. What do they call those things? Chasers or something?
The suicides?
Suicides.
We had this thing where we would do 2 4/8s on the side, and it was awful. So you had to do, and you had to make it in a certain amount of time. So you did 2, and then your partner did 2, and then you had to do 4. And again, you were talking about sprinting. Those were worse than suicides.
I might not be able to sleep tonight thinking about that coming up again. All right, Coach White said, things did not go well Saturday. So the specific question, what wasn't good enough Saturday?
Yeah, I think the execution and then the going out there on the grass and playing with our hair on fire. Those were the 2 things that showed up the most. You say on that 29-yarder, we didn't even have a guy. We didn't have a guy do the right thing. He went the completely wrong way, and no coincidence, it goes right there. So, and that's just one of the plays that we're giving up, But probably more so, about the execution is the manner of which we didn't play with our hair on fire. And that's all. That's me. I know Coach sat up here and in front of everybody and said that and did that, but that's also my responsibility too, to make sure that when those young men line up on the grass, they play lights out and they play RDV, and they didn't. So we need to make sure that we allow those guys to do that.
Just again, continue to be so impressed by him. I mean, I hope he's around here
A long time.
But I'm afraid he's going to be a head coach.
Agree.
But if you're playing for a guy like that, he stood up there, we didn't come out with our hair on fire. That's on me, and not just taking responsibility from the players, but also those position coaches. Hey, ultimately, it's on me that we didn't come out and play the way I expect us to play. I mean, I love that. But then also, that he's letting guys know, hey, because, I heard him come over at one point, just again, those one person not doing their job. We had, and against a team like Michigan, one person not doing their job can turn into huge plays, and you just can't get yourself in that kind of situation. And I just think it's just been so uncharacteristic. And so I love the way he stands up there and answers questions and takes the bullets, and it's just, you got to respect him for it.
There was an edge about him today that I have not seen before from him.
Yeah.
And I think it's needed and good timing. All right, no sacks from the black shirts the last 2 weeks. Big Mac eaters are in dismay. So the coach was asked today, what's going on? Why have you not been able to get to the quarterback the last 2 weeks?
Again, that comes back on me, right? Being aggressive. You look at the games prior, and we're really aggressive up there. The La Tech game, we kind of figured that they weren't going to just let you run back there, right? They were real quick throws and, doing certain things that you like, okay, they're not going to let you run back there and hit the quarterback. But this game, we had some chances too. We just didn't hold up, whether it was we had chances to hit them and the coverage broke down, or whether the coverage was great and we didn't get off of blocks. So that's just me in the play calling, being aggressive and letting the guys loose, and then the preparation during the week, making sure the guys know what to do. And again, it comes back to making sure their mindset's correct, right? You got to play, right? You got to get on the grass and play ball. Okay, and that's the most disappointing thing, you're looking at it as a coach. Like, you go back and look at, like, what did I do wrong? So that way those guys can go, because they do everything that's asked, right? I mean, they came in on Sunday and went through, had a really good practice, and so they're gonna go and do it. So now, one, we gotta do our part, make sure they know what the hell to do so they can go do it, and then demand that of them, make sure that they understand. Again, I said this before, and I know this is from coaches, like, there is a way you're going to play football in Nebraska, okay? And that was not good enough on Saturday, period. So we got to get it fixed.
Ooh. I love it. I love it.
I'm going to avoid him in the hallways this week.
He's going to sack you.
Yeah. All right, let's flip it over. Offense. Marcus Satterfield met with the media today. He was asked about transitioning Joshua Fleeks back to the running back room with the need there after the injuries to Gabe and Ramir.
He's done a really nice job of, he's played a lot more running back than receiver now. So, being in the meeting rooms with the running backs, learning protections, and he was in there on a couple of protections the other day, which was good for him. I think he'll just keep growing and growing as much as he can handle. We'll put him out there and see what he can do.
What a nice run. I mean, he exploded through that hole.
Yeah, he did. And he's played running back before at Baylor, and he knows this coaching staff. And, as anybody that you can get back there that can help, I think they'll take all hands on deck. And I think he embraces that opportunity. It was really cool to see the reaction. I did a report on this, but man, to see how fired up the sideline was. I mean, they very well could have been like, oh yeah, it was a game. It was a score at the end of the game, but they needed that. That was big to put something on the board, but to see a running back do that wasn't your typical running back. There were so many positives, I think, from that touchdown run. And then to see E.J. Barthel, the way he celebrated, and Emmett Johnson, I said E.J. Barthel sprinted almost as fast as Fleeks did. Emmett Johnson was right there behind him. So it just, it was just cool to see. And I think it gave a shot of confidence there that, you can call on him to hand the ball off to.
All right. The offense has certainly had its ups and downs in the first 5 games, and the consistency question got brought up to Coach Sat. Here was his take.
Not consistent, not to our standard. Up and down from, starting with week 1, just the procedure of getting guys on and off the field, and then the week 2, the crowd noise, the snap counts, the motions, the balls hitting people, fumbles, and we've cleaned it up from a turnover standpoint. The last 3 weeks, we've calmed that down a little bit, but still just going and not being afraid to do your job, not being afraid to make a mistake. Just go out there and trust your training. That's our next step. Is just go relax and do your job and have fun and play.
I think what's been the most frustrating part about the offense is that, and I think the coaching staff agrees that and I've heard how many times in the halftime does Coach will say this, where we've had some good drives or we've done some good things, but they can't seem to put it all together, right? I mean, it's like they had trouble running the football, but then you see some good pass plays, like the pass play to Marcus Washington or some of the plays to Thomas Fidone. You've seen a couple flashes here or there, but they just can't seem to put it all together. And I think that's where you're just wanting to hopefully find some consistency at some point that you can continue to put it all together. And I just don't think they're close to that at this point. 3
drives have ended with missed field goals.
Yeah.
And we asked Ed Foley. We had several texts about that. I mean, I fully appreciate hanging with Tristan, and they see practice, so they track all this, but that's deflating. And we had one of the texters say, it's just such a deflation. You have a nice drive, and you end up with no points because you missed the kick. That's a really big momentum switch. They've got Tristan, whoever, Timmy, they got to make these kicks. They have to start making kicks.
They really do, because, I mean, again, you're talking about a defense that has shown up until last week that you don't have to score a whole bunch of points. You don't have to hang 45 every week, but you need to get points when you have the opportunity. And it's not only the missed kicks, it's also some of the dumb penalties or dumb mistakes that happen when you have a good drive going. Like, just some of the things that you've got to be able to make a play at that point. And I think Jeremiah brought that up in the Colorado broadcast. At some point, when you have to step up and make that play, as opposed to not delivering when you have to have it, when you need to keep extending drives, or it just seems like the most inopportune times when you have something good going, that something bad happens. And
Right.
that's something that's got to get fixed, or else I think it's going to continue to cause some issues in the consistency part, because as Coach Satterfield said, it's not good enough.
All right, Illinois, a comment from Coach Sat about them. They've got two terrific defensive tackles. They call them the law firm, Randolph and Newton. They've been there a couple years. They're both juniors, terrific players. They'll be a handful, and I'm sure Jeremiah has already scouted them and knows these are NFL players. So here's Sat talking about those two big defensive tackles that Illinois has for Friday night's game.
Yeah, very disruptive inside with those guys. They're kind of like their head coach. I mean, they're built to be tough dudes, and they're going to hit you. They're going to run to the football. Those two guys are very disruptive inside. I think they play a lot of man coverage. Those corners and DBs, they're on islands all the time. They play with a certain toughness. You can tell just off the tape. This is going to be a tough game, physical game.
So there's a little bit on Illinois. They had to replace their entire secondary. 3 or 4 of those guys are in the NFL. In fact, Witherspoon had a pick 6 last night for the Seahawks. He was in Illinois last year, and they've not been very good on the back end. But those two guys up front are NFL players that Nebraska will have to deal with in Friday's game. All right, that'll wrap up our practice report for tonight. Let's open up those phone lines again. Thoughts, what you heard from either coordinator, 402-413-2400. If you prefer the text mode, that is also working at the very same number, by chance, 402-413. There he goes again. People are laughing at me. 2400. They're laughing with me. Yeah, that's it. Very much different.
No, I'm laughing at you.
Distinction. Very good. Thank you. Hey, if problem gambling is burning up your money, there is a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. There's no judgment. Just help. Visit lifeafterbet.com. Those in the chat room want Jessica to join in Joke Thursday along with Cole.
I'm going to let that be Cole's glory time.
We're back with more of the show next.
There's room at the table, saving you money on every gallon at a CVA fuel site. Central Valley Ag offers a 5-cent per gallon discount at the pump to CVA fuel card holders. Now, for a limited time, get a 5-cent discount and be entered to win 2 VIP tickets to a Husker football game when you get a new or additional CVA fuel card. Sign up to win at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Winning a new truck playing trucks and bucks from the Nebraska Lottery changes a person. I used to drive around hills. Now I drive over them. I used to hate helping friends move. Now I can do it in one trip. I used to own my own tech company. Now I'm on the professional rodeo circuit. Actually, I'm going back to tech. Bulls are really mean, and I just don't look good in chaps.
Play trucks and bucks from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For 47 years, Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been family owned and operated. We'll treat you like family and focus on providing you the best buying experience possible. Visit us in Fremont to shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer. And if you need a commercial vehicle, we're your GMC Business Elite dealer. Shop at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
What's colder than the coldest? A polar bear. 5 reports of polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hoving here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on New York equipment. The best warranty you got.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at Emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
AAA Nebraska is giving away the ultimate away game experience. The Huskers road game getaway includes 2 tickets to the Nebraska-Michigan State game up in East Lansing on November the 4th. The winner will also receive $2,500. That is a AAA travel gift certificate to cover your flight, hotel, other travel accommodations. You can go enter at huskers.com/AAA. That would be AAA. Football getaway. Huskers.com/AAA football getaway. Expect something more with AAA. How cool would that be to go up there? I think we had a great chance to win that football game. Sparty's a bit of a mess. Beautiful campus, though. Nice little easy, about an hour and a half drive from the Detroit airport. You would fly to Detroit. There's a daily flights from Omaha into Detroit. You can get there through the Lincoln Airport as well, so easy way to get up there.
That was one of my favorite roads.
Nice stadium.
That was one of my favorite, not games, but the
little bitty tunnel, though, for the two teams to come out.
Yeah, but the campus, I guess you can walk, and there's some cool eating places. You walk through the tailgate area. It's it's stunning, especially when you go there when the leaves are changing.
And that should be, they may be falling by then.
Yeah, it might be done. But I enjoyed the trip there to Ann Arbor.
Yeah, should have won that game.
Yep, there's a lot of those.
Was that the punt to the wrong side of the field?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I definitely won't sleep tonight thinking about that one as well. All right, here's what we have for the rest of the week. Tomorrow night, volleyball show is tomorrow, not Thursday, because they travel. Volleyball is on the road again Friday, Saturday, so John Cook will be here in hour 2. We will hear from Matt Rural tomorrow night in hour 1. His normal Thursday press gathering is Wednesday because of the accelerated week. And boy, do we have a show lined up for you Thursday night. No coaches shows, but we're going to have appearances from the governor, Jordan Larson, and Jeremiah Searles. He wants to take over the show. He wants to do picks. He wants to talk football, so we're going to let him.
Yeah, we have a lineup. That's going to be a fun show.
And Cole's
joke of the week.
And yours too. I mean, that the chat room.
I'm not doing a joke, but listen, they were talking about the Mount Rushmore earlier of Huskers and Husker volleyball players. That's like the Mount Rushmore of Sports Nightly. Cole's joke of the week, Searles, and Jordan Larson.
Pretty good. You've already posted the dig with Jordan, right?
Yes, it's out. I talked to her today. Just awesome to get to talk to her. You sit there and you're kind of like, you're trying to do your job, and then like, oh my gosh, this is like the best volleyball player in the world.
3-time Olympian, 3 times, I think.
Well, first Olympics. Team to win a gold medal, and it's really great to hear her perspective of, she wants it to be better than when she played, and that's why she wanted to get into coaching. She's very passionate about that, and she feels like, okay, now we have the talent. We should be dominating women's volleyball in the Olympics now. So they just got their first one. They want to back it up, and she's very passionate about that.
Paris.
Yeah, and they qualified. She helped do that, so.
Well, I think,
I need to get on her regimen for how she's still playing at that level.
Here's what I'm thinking. We're going to have her there. Jordan Burroughs, I think, is going to make another run at the Olympics. If Casey makes I think we need to make a pitch to the boss for you to be in Paris to cover the Olympics.
I think that's the best idea you've ever had in your life. I think we should do that. Honestly, that's brilliant. And maybe an Australian basketball player too.
Right.
I mean,
Jazz
and Izzy both. Izzy has a shot too, I think.
Yeah.
So Jazz, and then could Jordy make the softball team?
I don't know.
They have tryouts.
Is softball still?
Is it back?
I don't know.
No, I think it's. I think it's not.
Is.
I think it's back at the next one.
I don't think it's this one.
No, I think it was not in Paris, but it's in the next one.
So we'll
They're trying to get it back for when because it's in the United States the next year, right? In LA or something.
LA in 28.
And we're going to have some track and field athletes.
We could.
We are.
You know who's working in the crib now?
Is Till Steinfort.
Yeah, walk by there today.
I've seen him down. He scoots a lot too. Cole and him can be scooter buddies.
We got Till, we got Duke. I mean, it's the same, right?
Yeah. I saw him working up there too. I think he does a podcast maybe, or one of his track teammates do. So
that's a pretty good athlete right there.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Really good.
Yep.
All right, Woodhouse Auto Family, they're your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
We could tell you all about what makes Ford F-Series the #1 trucks in America for 46 straight years. But why tell you when we could show you instead? Because in the Midwest, talk is cheap and actions speak. On the lake, on the job, or on the town. Choose the trucks that deliver on the claims. Ford F-Series is made for the real world. This is Chiefs Kingdom. Get 3.9% financing for 66 months, plus up to $3,750 bonus cash on F-150 XLT, official truck of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
We are back inside of our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. Final few minutes here of our Tuesday night show. Again, Ed Foley was terrific in hour one on our football show. You can go back and listen to that. We've got that posted up there on our platform, so if you want to go back and hear what Coach Foley had to say, and it's been fun to hear from both of the coordinators here tonight on the program. All right, tomorrow night, volleyball show with John Cook. It's a day earlier because they travel on Thursday as well. They play the two Michigan schools this weekend, Sparty on Friday, and then they go play the Wolverines on Saturday. Four straight matches on the road for Husker volleyball before they get back next weekend. They got a big one with Penn State. Penn State's playing well. People aren't talking about the Nittany Lions. I think they're missing out. I think that's a pretty good volleyball team that'll be here next weekend.
And again, you know, you're getting Penn State is historically been a team, right, that hasn't been intimidated, right?
Correct.
Because they've had just a long history, and they also have a pretty good atmosphere.
They do.
And Nebraska's going to get everybody's best.
Yes.
Let's face it, every week, week in and week out.
So we've got a full week ahead. Again, football starts at 3 o'clock Friday afternoon with Husker Game Day. I'm not a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people around the state cringe when they saw the Huskers playing a Friday night game because it's a high school football night. I get that. I know some of our affiliates get pulled in different directions because they carry, and they should, the local high school teams playing. So we don't like it. It's just kind of the way it is in college sports now.
Yep. It's you got to be ready for the TV, that when that money rolls in, you got to play when they tell you to play. But I don't mind it. I'm actually kind of excited about it.
Bunch of Buckeye fans unhappy. Their game not this week, but next week's going to be on Peacock, and they're not happy. Everybody's going to be on Peacock. It's going to be one of the things.
Yep.
Go get your subscription.
I'm kind of excited because now we get to watch football day on Saturday, too.
Love it. Let's sleep in. We're going to get back late, but I'll sleep. Yeah, a lot of good games this week.
It'll be about feeling a little fall-y, too, when we get back.
Chilly out there. Thanks to Cole. Duke took off, but he did a nice job for us tonight, so glad to have him in here with us. Thanks to all of you for being a part of the program. That'll do it. We'll be back tomorrow night with just an hour for us, and then John Cook and the volleyball show in hour 2 tomorrow night. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
That's my neighbor, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a very big mistake. Hey, Joe, you think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have your underground utilities parked before you start digging?
John, that's just for big projects.
Actually, it's for any digging project. Hey, congratulations, Joe. You found your electric line. Remember, safe digging always begins with a free call to 811. You want to borrow my phone, buddy?
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Is your garbage disposal not disposing? You had one job. Drains backing up can cause a horrible smell in a home, damaged pipes, and so much more. Some signs that your garbage disposal may be going out include frequent clogs, abnormal and louder noises than normal, or water is leaking from the bottom, just to name a few. John Henry's is here to take care of all the pipes and drains in your home. Call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
As a fan, you wear your jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. There's a place for people like you. The Cox Fan Zone. Play NFL Pick'em and Collegiate Pick'em for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card each week, or even a $500 Visa gift card grand prize.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe. Say Fan Zone in your Contour voice remote to play, not at home.